You ready to do this, Ro?
Back in the hot seat.
Dude, I can't believe you're back already.
I mean, I didn't think that we'd get this much out this fast. I came on your podcast, and then 2 weeks later, the Justice Department decides to release 50% of the files. So I figured maybe if I come back, they'll release the other 50%.
Hopefully. Wow. I mean, you're my fourth interview this week. I've dug in as much as I can. Thank you for coming. I'm not an expert on this stuff. I'm trying to figure out what's real, what's not real, and sift through this shit. And I want to know, what do we do next? But so thanks for coming, Ro. I really appreciate it. And the last episode was awesome. I mean, I took a lot of heat for it. You probably did too. But I think this is, it's what needs to happen. We have to talk to each other.
I just want to say you're not a communist. Just because you have me on, we can talk to each other even if we don't agree, and we certainly can agree that pedophiles shouldn't be protected in America.
That's right.
The stuff has been worse than even I anticipated. I don't know what you thought.
I couldn't believe some of the shit that I was seeing in there, and we're going to go into as much of that as you want and as I want today. But I wanted to open it up with a quote. Let's see if you know who wrote this. Remember when we learned that our wealthiest and most powerful people were connected to a guy who ran a literal child sex trafficking ring? And then that guy died mysteriously in jail. And now we just don't talk about it. You know who wrote that?
Our Vice President, J.D. Vance.
J.D. Vance wrote that in September 4th, 21.
Back when he used to be a populist. I knew him back then.
What happened?
I don't know. Look, I went to factory towns with J.D. Vance. He used to talk about why our jobs are going offshore, hollowing out of our factories. Tim Ryan, me, and J.D. were across small town America. And I thought, okay, I disagree with this guy, but he's got the same values, like stand up for ordinary Americans. And he sounded the alarm on the Epstein files, as did Donald Trump. I mean, they made this a huge thing. And I tweeted at him yesterday. Sometimes we go back and forth. And I said, JD, you talk about being a man. You talk about let's have not diminish masculinity in America. To me, being a man means standing up and respecting
Standing up for what you believe in, no matter what the fucking consequences are.
Seriously.
That's what being a man is. Being a man is not keeping your fucking mouth shut because daddy's got a thumb on you. That's what this is. That's what's happening. And it's fucking pissing me off. And it's pissing all of the American people off. It's
and he looks
crazy.
Emasculated to Trump. I mean, why can't he just get out there and say, yeah, I'm going to stand up to these powerful men who are involved in the raping of American girls? Like anyone who has a sister, anyone who has a daughter, anyone who has a wife should be offended. And being a man, in my view, means standing up for the respect and dignity of women not being abused and standing up to evil men like that. Like you went and fought wars against the bad guys, right? This is like, are you on the good guy's side or the bad guy's side? And I still hope, because I want what's right for survivors. I'm sure someone is going to show this to the vice president. I hope he remembers what he was like before he got into this position. All he has got to do is put out a statement, release all the files. Let's hold these people accountable who went to Epstein's Island. I don't know how hard it is.
Looks like maybe he's had a change of opinion, unfortunately. But, and, before we get too far into this, it was really cool to introduce, to get you and Schlepp to meet each other. We had a great episode with him yesterday all about what he's doing with Roblox, and to be able to show you all of the stuff that's, not even all of the stuff, some of the stuff that's going on there, like the Epstein Island game, or recreating all of the mass shooter events, Sandy Hook, Uvalde. What were some of the other ones, Jeremy? There are Columbine's in there.
I was
sick. Grocery store in New York. 9/11.
I had no idea. Look, Schlepp's a courageous guy, and I'm glad you had him on. And he's taken on some of this abuse that is going on Roblox. And I did a petition to support him because of that. But I had no idea just till 5 minutes ago that they have a game on Sandy Hook where you're the shooter and you kill your own mom, like the Sandy Hook assassin did, and then you go into the school and they show you blowing up kids in a bathroom. I mean, it is sick.
Not only that, the victims' names are over the characters. The kids that were killed.
The actual victims.
Yes. The kids that were killed. We have screenshots of this shit. They have the victims' names that were killed in some of these incidents is actual characters in the game that you shoot and kill.
I mean, that makes me so angry. It's certainly illegal.
This is safe for kids, though, Ro, according to them.
And you wonder why we've got a culture where you got school shootings. You're celebrating and teaching kids to celebrate school shootings, where you can be the shooter and go kill these kids.
Not only that, you're building them a legacy that will live forever. It's almost like they're memorializing this shit. You know what I mean? You've built a legacy where kids can go and reenact this.
Celebrate it.
There's little kids on this game. Little kids.
It's got to, I mean, that whole thing needs to come down. And then Epstein Island, Schlepp was showing that to me. That's chilling. I mean, they've recreated the island where young girls were raped. And you've got kids going and roaming around on their video games on these islands. I mean, what are we thinking in this country? Like, I don't know. When I grew up, I would play Little League. You go watch the Phillies or the Sixers. I mean, people played video games, but our video games weren't like
RBI baseball and Donkey Kong.
Yeah, seriously, Madden. You don't go blow up young kids. I mean, there's something sick, right? The Epstein class, the Epstein files show how sick the elite are in our country. We could have a much longer conversation. But what we're doing with our kids is just going to replicate that and make it worse. It's disgusting. And I hope people watch that episode with Schlepp, and I hope it triggers a serious reform on Roblox or the platform and in general of this video junk that's out there.
Oh, a lot of people are going to watch it. I did one with Ryan Montgomery, and they lost $6 billion in 1 week, starting on the day we released the episode.
On this stuff?
On this stuff. You can see the graph. It goes.
You have no fear of taking these powerful people on, huh?
I wouldn't say I have no fear. I just think this is why I'm here. Because nobody else is doing this shit.
No.
I shouldn't say nobody else is doing this shit. People that are in positions with very large audiences are not doing anything to protect kids. And I'm the only fucking one that has.
Because they're afraid of getting sued. I know you face all that. They're afraid of having billionaires and powerful people turn on them. And it's not easy to take on these.
I've never had a billionaire or a powerful person do a fucking thing for me in my life. I don't need them. I don't fucking need them. Anyways, Ro Khanna, representative for California's 17th Congressional District in Silicon Valley, co-sponsor along with Rep. Massey, the bill to fully release the Epstein files to the public. Huge drop of files on the DOJ website last week, so I want to dive in and see what all this means, why so many names were redacted, abuser names redacted. That's kind of weird. Don't you think we'd want to know who's ordering hits and burying bodies and all this other shit? But as of today, Polymarket says there's only a 19% chance that anyone will be jailed over the Epstein disclosures. What do you think about that?
It's up from like 3 or 4%, so we're moving in the right direction. But look, there are obviously people who need to be prosecuted and investigated. They haven't released the names of the co-conspirators still, even though they've released the indictments where we know that other people were involved. Every single person who is in those files who says, I went to Epstein's Island, or I went to this ranch in New Mexico, or I went to Epstein's home, and I know that there were young girls there at all of those places. Any one of those people need to be investigated. They need to be held in front of Congress, and they need to be held accountable, and they need to be asked, what did you see? What did you do? What did you know? Look, I've done a lot of fundraising. You don't have to go to some island to raise money from a rich guy. You don't have to go to some party where you know there are young girls being paraded around to raise money. You can have a coffee. You could have a dinner, you know. And so this idea that, we just all went there to raise money, come on.
I mean, it's what's really interesting is how fast the narrative is starting to change, or this narrative they're trying to build. Like Todd Blanche, we saw on Fox News the other day. Todd Blanche said, in quotes, "If any member of Congress wishes to review any portions of the responsive production in any unredacted form, they're welcome to make arrangements with the department to do so, and we're happy to do that." Okay, here we go. Who was he sharing torture videos with? Who did he have killed? And who was talking about the foreign girls buried at his Zorro Ranch? That would be a great fucking start, Todd Blanche.
Seriously.
Who also said, it's not a crime to party with Epstein. I'm sorry. It is a fucking crime if you're fucking minors. What the hell is that? But I mean, how could you even say that? It's not a crime to party with
and most
Epstein?
offensive. One of the most dumbest and most offensive things I've heard. I mean, no one is talking about being a playboy. No one's talking about, oh, you go to a party and there are women there and you're having affairs. Fine.
They're not at the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah, exactly.
They're at an island with a bunch of minors as young as, I think we saw...
9?
9 years old?
There was one email that said a 9-year-old Brazilian.
9-year-old Brazilian kid, girl,
Yeah.
boy.
I mean, 9-year-old Brazilian. And by the way, they've redacted the name of the person who sent that email.
Well, we got to protect all the friends.
So, I mean, that's the thing. They didn't redact the survivors in certain cases. They had nude images of young girls that they released, but they blacked out names of people who've sent Epstein an email saying, "I enjoyed the 9-year-old Brazilian. I enjoyed your young girl who was naughty." I mean, it's sick. But the point is, this is not some Epstein party. These are people who are going there, and at the very least, they know there are parties where young girls are being paraded naked. 13-year-old, 14-year-olds being paraded naked. They know that there are people who are raping and abusing girls on that island. They know that. They know that Epstein has done it. And anyone who thinks that it was just Epstein and Maxwell when there are 1,200 survivors, I mean, they're just total liars. And so, I think Blanche should come here. I think he should sit down man to man with you. Go through it. I mean, if he has nothing to hide, fine. He wants members of Congress to go there, and I'm going to go with Massey and Nancy Mace, and we're arranging it. Our teams are arranging it. But why not have a real interview? The media that gets 3 minutes, he does a bunch of his song and dance, and that you don't get real answers. Sit down for 2 hours.
Well, he's just going to sit here and lie to my face. We actually had an opportunity for him to be on the show, and I just fucking got ghosted.
He should come.
Set up from within the administration.
Well, if he doesn't want to come, Pam Bondi should come.
But they're all just going to fucking lie, Ro.
They can't lie for 2 hours. They can't lie for 2 hours. I mean, just sit here. They all wanted to come before the election. They all wanted to do the 2-hour, 3-hour podcast, or have Vance come.
Well,
have some person come and explain why they've redacted what they've redacted.
These are also all the same people that told us all about the fake news for 8 years and how they'll never go back on the fake news until you get elected. And then there's no more hour-long, 2-hour, 3-hour, 4-hour conversations. It's 2-second news hits on Fox News. They don't do podcasts anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
It's back. Hey, let me get my daughter-in-law a job at Fox News, and I'll just fucking go on there and say, fuck all the podcasts. Good job.
Yeah, well, they're forgetting how they won.
Another lie. Another fucking lie. But I don't even know where to start with this stuff. But I do want to ask one thing. We made, this isn't a right versus a left thing, and that's why you're here. And so I want to know, why did you vote no to hold the Clintons in contempt of Congress?
Sure. I voted yes on civil contempt. I voted no on criminal contempt. And I voted no on criminal contempt because I said after the release of the files, they should come testify. They've agreed to testify. So if they hadn't come and testified, I would have voted yes ultimately on criminal contempt. But the vote then was yes on civil contempt, no on criminal contempt. And they are testifying on February 26th.
What is the difference? Can you just explain the difference to the audience?
Criminal contempt means you can go to jail. Civil contempt means that you could be fined. You don't go to jail. It's a fine. It's a violation of Congress. But the point is, I just thought it was premature when Comer was already negotiating. And what I said is, after the files get released, they should come. This was before the files were released. As soon as the files were released, they're come. I mean, it's 50% of the files, but it's enough. And if they hadn't come before Congress, which they're now coming, I would have voted for criminal contempt. And I said that at the time. So, people could criticize, why didn't you vote for criminal contempt then? But, the negotiation hadn't happened. I mean, you got to give someone a chance to come in and testify before Congress.
Sleep is the foundation of everything you do. Your training, your focus, your recovery. None of it works if your sleep is broken. For years, I didn't think much about my mattress. I just dealt with being sore, waking up hot, and feeling drained every single morning. That changed when I switched to Helix. Helix doesn't make one mattress for everyone. They build a mattress just for you. You take their sleep quiz, and it matches you based on your body type, how you sleep, and whether you run hot or cold. Mine was dead on. Since switching, I wake up without back pain, and I'm not tossing and turning all night. That's real recovery, and I can feel the difference every single day. Helix makes it easy, too. With free shipping, a 120-night trial, and their happy with Helix guarantee, there's absolutely no risk. If you're serious about optimizing your life, you have to be serious about your sleep. Right now, Helix is running a limited time offer, and they're giving listeners of the Shawn Ryan Show an exclusive deal. Go to helixsleep.com/SRS for 27% off site-wide. That's helixsleep.com/SRS for 27% off site-wide. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/SRS. I mean, there are more pics with Epstein online than there are of me and my wife. There's a lot of pictures of those two together.
Of who, Clinton?
Oh, yeah.
He owes an explanation. I mean, he owes an explanation about how many times he saw him. Did he go to the island? Was he at any of the parties? Does he know? The other thing is, does he know other people who were raping these underage girls? Does he know what Epstein's role was? Because, there are pictures of Epstein at the CIA headquarters. I've never been to the CIA headquarters.
It's not that impressive.
Have you been there? I've been on Armed Services 10 years. The senior person of the Armed Services Committee, senior person of the China Select Committee. I've not met William Burns. He was the head of our CIA. And you got Epstein meeting him. So I want to know from President Clinton, who is this guy? How is it that he is corresponding with Modi or people like Modi? How is it that he has this relationship with Barack? How is it that he is at the CIA headquarters? How is it that Gordon Brown's government is tipping him off, Mendelsohn is tipping him off, that the UK is going to buy the euro currency, and then Epstein is trading on it? Someone knows why this guy is networked in the way he's networked. And those are questions that we should ask President Clinton.
What are some of the things in the files that you found? I mean, what are some of the big surprises that you saw?
How many people are involved?
Yeah.
I mean,
we've got Jay-Z, Bill Gates, Reid Hoffman, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Bill Clinton, Serge Brin,
it's just like half my districts of prominent people in Silicon Valley. And people who think I was political about this, these are people who support Democrats, many of them. Some of them are the biggest donors to Democrats. They're more arguably people who have on the left who have fallen than right now on the right. I mean, the head of Paul Weiss, big Democrat, He just resigned. You've got all of these names. And what I have said is, I don't care where the chips fall. Every single person you mentioned, if they are in the files, which many of them are, they need to be hauled in front of Congress. They need to be investigated, and they need to be asked questions. Did you go on the island? Why did you go? Under oath, by the way. What did you see? Who raped these underage girls? Were you ever at a party where there were underage girls? Were you ever at a party where underage girls were being paraded naked? And not just if you were on the island, if you were at his home, if you were on his ranch. And look, there may be people who are innocent. I'm not saying there's due process in this country, but how do you not investigate it? How do you not sit them down under oath and ask them questions? Even Melinda Gates, Bill Gates's ex, is saying she's got to answer questions. And then what do they?
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Did you see that email chain?
I did.
He was asking for some kind of secret antibiotics to slip his wife because he gave her an STD or thought he gave her an STD and didn't want to.
Yeah, I mean, and then his explanation.
Holy shit.
His explanation is, Epstein didn't send that email. He just drafted it to himself and actually didn't hit send. Well, I want to see if Bill Gates would say that under oath. I want to see if he would say that actually if there's an investigation. What these guys do is they find a convenient journalist to ask them a softball question. They do a 2-minute hit, and then they're hoping, okay, we're done. We're going to go into hiding for 2 years, and people will forget. And we've got so much money, and we fund so many universities and nonprofits, they're going to still want our money, and then we'll rehabilitate ourselves.
Do you think that somebody that rapes kids, do you think that somebody that rapes kids does being under oath mean anything to them? Because I don't. I don't think it means a damn thing.
Well, here's the problem for people. And I just want to be clear. I mean, we don't know which one of these people actually raped kids or were on islands where young girls were being paraded naked or knew that kids were being raped. Like there are a lot of people who knew that either Epstein or others were being raped and were still showing up on this island.
People have been calling this shit out. I mean, Nicki Minaj, was it Nicki Minaj just came out and said she knew about this shit? I mean, lots of people have been talking about this stuff, but they were always labeled conspiracy theorists. But the guy that cut your previews probably knows more about this stuff than anybody I've ever talked to on the planet.
You know,
and I thought he was fucking crazy.
Massey and I thought we were told we were conspiracy theorists. We were going to kill our reputations. We were pursuing a hoax. And now it turns out, you know, the most powerful people in this country and around the world were implicated. But here's why it matters if you have them under oath. Because if you get enough of them and they're making statements, then there may be contradictions. Then if someone says, oh, yeah, I saw Gates on the island, and Gates says, no, I wasn't there, there are contradictions. As it is, there are people who are conveniently remembering that they met Epstein more than they claimed, right? And they're trying to correct the record. Lutnick and others are correcting the record. Why? Because there's emails that have come out. There are other people who are testifying. So if you get 100 of these people under oath, you're going to find the contradictions. You're going to find out who's lying. So I'm not counting on their own conscience coming clean. I'm counting on the fact that there needs to be an investigation. There's been no investigation. It's not just that they haven't released the file. There's no investigation. And I don't know. What does it say about our country?
It says it's exactly what we talked about last time. There is a 2-tier justice system.
Yeah.
And the elites and political elites do not fall under the same justice department that the rest of us do.
There are 2 Americas. There are 2 tiers of justice. If you're rich, if you're powerful, if you fund universities and nonprofits, you can do the most heinous things. Like you can show up to an island where young girls are being raped and have no consequence.
I mean, so many people are involved. It's almost like it's a requirement to do that to get to the places that they are. That's how many fucking names are of powerful elites are in those damn files.
You know, I was on a call yesterday and someone said basically a version of that. They said, you don't understand, Ro, you had to be part of this Epstein network to be in the club. And he said, I didn't go, but I was tempted to go because everyone in my peer group was going. And if you weren't part of this club, then you weren't part of elite society. And so you have basically a peer pressure to go to an island where people know that this guy's been a convicted pedophile because they went after he was convicted, and they know that young girls are being raped. I mean, and it's the elite in Hollywood, the elite in finance, the elite in Silicon Valley. the elite in politics, and you talk to the survivors, and they say, we were told you can't call the police. You can't call the FBI because they know too many powerful people. So you've got an America where you've got two systems of justice, and people resent that. People like you go and fight for the country's values. You risk your life. And yet these elite folks are basically saying, yeah, we can go to an island where young girls are being raped and no one can touch us. And they never thought anything would come out, and we can make lewd jokes about it and laugh about it and fly to Davos, and life goes on. That's how they were living. And at the same time, people have the same thing on the economy in this country. Like, okay, all the power is in the hands of this few folks, and, you know, I'm struggling to make ends meet for my family. It's the same sense of a rigged America that has led to the kind of anger that we see.
What do you think is going to happen now?
It depends. I mean, it depends if people like you are going to continue to bang the drum. That's one of the reasons I'm here. What I'll tell you what these elite guys want to have happen. They want to do a kind of mea culpa. You know, have you seen their statements? I regret that I spent too much time with Epstein. I regret the judgment I showed to take a meeting with Epstein. I regret that I took his money. Not like I am ashamed and appalled that Epstein was raping young girls, and there were other people part of my network that were raping young girls. And let me just confess at what happened and who did this, right? It's like this lawyerly statement. So here's what their game plan is. I mean, their game plan is, let's put these things out. Let's hope Massey and Khanna go away. You know, let them bang the drum for a few more months. Let this all fade. And then 2 years later, we're going to come back. We got too much money. They're going to want our money. They're going to want our scholarships, and we're going to be rehabilitated in society. That's their game plan. And the question for the country is, are we going to let them get away with it, or are we finally going to hold people accountable? In Britain, they're holding people accountable.
What are they doing over there?
Well, Starmer's government may fall.
Andrew's gone.
Andrew's gone. At least the prince
gone.
You know, he's got to. I think there's got to be more to Andrew than just, okay, now you're not a prince. But at least he's not a prince. But he's probably got to have criminal investigation from the stuff I've seen. I think there has to actually be an investigation into what he did. But at least they've stripped him of his titles, and then they've got Mendelsohn, who's resigned just today or yesterday. Resigned. Right? There's some consequence. Starmer, the prime minister, his government may fall. He's lost confidence. By the way, he's on the left. You know, this is a guy, and I said, good. There's accountability. This isn't left or right. The guy's on the left who's falling.
I don't even fucking see left or right anymore. I
Yeah.
just see good and evil, and that is it. I don't see any of this other shit. I think, you know, Jeremy told me a long time ago, politics is WWF wrestling. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
I fucking see it. It's disgusting. It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're good guys and bad guys.
How everybody's, you're saying the American people can't let this go. They can't, that we have to hold them. How do we hold them accountable? I mean, you're doing your part, I'm doing my part, but we're up against a huge system that's coming unglued. I mean, the country's in fucking shambles. It just continues to go. I mean, people talk about revolution, civil war, all this shit. It's already happening. I mean, look at Minnesota. It's a fucking war zone up there.
I was there.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a fucking war zone up there. I mean, places down on the border, it's fucking war zone down there. Our cities, which we were talking about, last time. We're pretty damn close, and we might be in the middle of it already. I mean,
But we got to turn it around.
That's what I'm saying. We got to turn it around, but how?
Well,
you can't turn it around with a fucking two-tier justice system.
I agree with that.
You cannot turn it around while we have all these elites, powerful tech people, powerful Hollywood people, powerful politicians just raping kids and getting away with it. It's right out in the open, right in front of everybody. And they're just walking around.
That's disgusting. And I see your anger. I mean, I feel it, right? For people not here. I mean, it's like, it
makes me want to look into fucking dual citizenship. It's that bad. It's that fucking bad.
And you wore the uniform. I mean, you gave your.
I wore the uniform, and I don't even believe in the fucking wars I fought for because I think those were a lie. I know damn well Iraq was a fucking lie. That was a ploy to get KPR into fucking Iraq because Dick Cheney.
No, I agree with you.
That's what that shit was.
I started my career.
Fucking spent a long time there. Every fucking logistics piece in the country was KBR, Halliburton, KBR, Halliburton, everything. Food, like the shitters, the gasoline, every piece of logistics there was KBR. Did we find WMDs? Fuck no. That war was bullshit, and everybody fucking knows it.
Well, in 2003, I ran against the Iraq War against a Democrat in my own party. I got crushed 71-19, but I was against the war back in 2003. And the reality is that we've never held people accountable in this country, right? Where was the accountability for the people who lied us into war in Iraq, which led to thousands of Americans dying? Where was the accountability for Abu Ghraib and the people who committed torture in Iraq? Where was the accountability for the bankers who crashed the entire economy after the Great Recession in Wall Street? No accountability. Where is the accountability in this country? And now people are saying, okay, you got these elite who are raping young girls or showing up while young girls are being raped and not saying anything, and we just want to move on? Hell no. I mean, we will not restore democratic trust in this country if we don't have accountability for some of these people who committed these crimes. That's the reality. Yeah, like, I don't care. I want a democratic project that has health care for everyone, child care. You can't get there unless you first say, we're going to hold these people accountable. They're going to face justice, and we're going to try to restore trust that there's one tier of justice in America.
So seriously though, how do we do this? What if it goes picture perfect, which it's not, but in your mind, what is the path to success? Who brings these people in? Who presses charges on them? Is it the FBI? Do all the files need to be released? Do the names need to be redacted? I mean, how do we start charging people? What's the process?
I think there are three buckets. First, let's start the investigation with just the files that have been released, right? Like, there's a lot that still needs to be released that was protected and redacted, but there are enough names in there that can be investigated. The FBI, the DOJ should start to interview under oath every single person who is in correspondence about going to the ranch or the home where there were parties with underage girls or the island. And Congress simultaneously should start a committee, a subcommittee under the oversight, and announce hearings. I don't know why Comer doesn't do that. I mean, Comer is all into holding accountability. Fine. He wants to do the deposition with the Clintons. Fine. Have Trump. Fine. But what about the hundreds of other people? Why aren't we hauling them in this year in Congress under Comer? I'll vote for every subpoena. Nancy Mace said, subpoena Gates. I said, yes. I will vote for every single subpoena, and I'll get Democrats to do it as well, for anyone who's in those files. Democratic donor, Republican donor, I don't care. I'll vote for a subpoena, bring them in, and start to ask them under oath. Congress can do that, even if the DOJ and FBI doesn't move. That's the first step. Second step is we have a meeting with Blanche, Mace, me, Massey, Raskin, and the judiciary. Have Comer in there too. And let's start to figure out how we get the unredacted versions that are not going to protect abusers. You want to protect young girls? Of course. Don't have the nude pictures. Don't have the survivors exposed. But give me a break. When you have an abuser sending Epstein an email about what they did with some young girl, and you have the name of the abuser blacked out, come on. We need to get that information out as a second thing and push on the files. And then the third thing is simply the public shaming and the public accountability. Like, these people are still, not just are they walking the streets, they're still giving speeches. They're still on corporate boards. They're still having their gifts accepted by nonprofits and universities. They still have buildings named after them. Like, when are we going to have more accountability, at least with Paul Weiss, where Brad Karp resigned? When are we going to have some of these people out of the positions of influence and honor that they're currently in? That doesn't require Trump's Justice Department. That doesn't require Congress. That requires all of us as Americans. And I guess the question is, are we going to be so blinded by their money so blinded by what they can do for our universities, our nonprofits, our civil society, that we say, just let them have a pass, or are we actually going to hold them accountable? It's easy to hold Larry Summers accountable because he doesn't have a lot of money and he's a professor. Okay, he's being held accountable. Or Brad Karp, right, he's a lawyer, fine, he's being held accountable. But when you've got billions, when you're one of these people who has a lot of money, then it's a choice. Like, okay, money or young girls? Where are we going to stand?
Did you watch that interview with Epstein and Bannon by chance?
I watched some of it.
What'd you think of that?
I mean, I don't know why Bannon was doing that. Like, what the hell? Like, after to resuscitate and revive his reputation?
Did you see when he asked him if he thought he was the devil?
I saw that clip.
Is that fucking crazy?
I mean, and it was kind of like laughing about it, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's the emails. It's sort of like they're laughing about his evilness, not just Bannon, but like other powerful people. Ha ha ha! Like this. Ha ha ha! You're abusing young girls. How many people wrote like, "Bring the young girls. Bring your harem with you." Oh yeah, we know this is evil things. It's like they're celebrating his sickness.
They are celebrating his sickness. They're all part of this stuff. What do you think about, I mean, has your opinion changed on where Epstein's from, who he's working with since our last interview? You asked me what I thought. I told you I think he's a Mossad agent for Israel.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know the answer to that specific question, but what I will say is this. Why is he at the CIA? Why is he meeting Will Burns? Why is he talking to Mendelsohn at the highest levels of the British government, who was working for Gordon Brown? Why is he talking about Modi, the Prime Minister of India, and going to Israel? Why is he talking about Palantir and Palantir's investments in our national security? Why is he affiliating with Barack so much that just today Prime Minister Netanyahu is making a statement?
What did he say? What did Netanyahu say today?
Netanyahu said that Barack was trying to undermine the Israeli government, and that's why he was meeting with Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, that was
right.
Like, how do you have one person that I guess this is what I want to really understand.
Did he say that there? Or did he come to the White House to say that?
Netanyahu?
Been to the White House quite a few times.
Yeah, no,
it's kind of weird how much he's at the White House.
Yeah, I don't understand why any leader should be at the White House that much. I mean, the United States should be driving our foreign policy with our interests. But the point is, and you know, I've been very outspoken that my view, I don't know yours, is that what Israel did in Gaza was a genocide. I do not believe that we should have been
100% with you, Ro.
Yeah,
100% with you. It's fucking disgusting. How many kids got killed?
There's thousands.
20,000 kids. 20,000 kids.
And your and my tax dollars went for that. You know, I voted no. I was one of 37 Democrats who voted no on the $14 billion.
That's why we don't want to raise taxes, Ro. Can't be killing fucking kids. Can't be sending political elites to rape kids.
But
Sorry, I'm losing my. I'm getting fucking pissed.
But you know, I mean, the question that has to be asked is, why is this guy Epstein? Why does he have so much access to the most powerful people in the world? Like, what, you know, he's operating at a level of power certainly beyond anyone in Congress, certainly beyond any senator. I mean, he's operating literally at a level of power of a head of state. And
over the president. It's insane.
I
mean, in that interview, he's talking about when the 2008 collapse happened. He's got, who did he have on the phone? He had in jail. He's got, I think he said like Bear Stearns in one hand and JP Morgan on the other, literally talking to them at the same time about what's going on.
Right.
I mean, why the fuck are the leaders of those financial institutions calling an inmate in prison to figure out what the hell is going on?
A pedophile. Yeah.
A pedophile that they were all hanging out with.
And then Gordon Brown's Mendelsohn, his aide, is giving Epstein tips before UK acts that they're going to bail out the euro. And Epstein is engaged in trading on that information. I mean, it's mind-boggling that this guy had this kind of power. And your point about like, how did he accumulate that power is in my view, the central question. There are two big questions. One, like, how do we have an elite that basically thinks it's okay to show up to an island where young girls are being raped? And how is it possible that everyone in all our society, from finance to arts to Hollywood to tech to real estate, is caught up in this mess? Like, it's disgusting. But then the second issue is, who is this guy Epstein? How does he have this kind of access? That's not conspiratorial. Now we have
so you know how we install straw men in foreign countries to control it?
Yeah. I mean, we have, unfortunately.
That's how this happens, Ro. That's how this happens.
What do you mean by that?
He was installed.
In the U.S. I mean, look, I think we need to ask all the questions. I try to stick to what I know, but these files have made me
just
question.
Giving you stuff to think about.
Yeah, I mean, these files have made me question why he has this kind of access to these many foreign leaders, why he has this kind of access to our CIA, why he's involved in some of the most critical investments in companies like Palantir or others that are now so enshrined in our national security. Why is he so connected to some of the enormous tech leaders? Like why is he connected to the most powerful people in finance and real estate? You can't just, someone's like, oh, he's just collects rich and people and elites. No, this is not just a socialite. You know, you don't have, a socialite doesn't get to go speak to heads of state and get to talk to every billionaire and get to talk to the most powerful people and direct that kind of attention. And that's an unanswered question. And that should be the investigation. There should probably be a commission. The president, next president, or this president should appoint a commission to understand who Jeffrey Epstein was and what his motives were and why he was operating. That's a national security question.
I think this is the biggest concern of national security that we have right now.
Well, it's a concern, certainly, in terms of us being compromised, right? If you believe, as I do, as the top Democrat on the China committee, that China is our competition and that we need to win and that we need to be ahead of them on technology. We need to be ahead of them on AI. We need to be ahead of them when it comes to the economy. If we're compromised from the inside, and if it's possible to compromise us from the inside, then that's a real problem. If you have an elite that can be seen as going to an island that's so immature, reckless, self-entitled, arrogant that they can go to a island where young girls are being raped, then you wonder, what does that say about our ability to have the seriousness of moral purpose to compete with China? They've got a worse system. They've got a communist system, an authoritarian system. But their leaders, from what I know, weren't showing up to Epstein's island, right? And so, this is a question of like, what kind of leadership are we producing to make sure America stays the great nation in the world? People were never perfect. Like FDR had affairs, Kennedy had affairs, but it's the pettiness, the immaturity, the total depravity of doing it with raping young girls and the frivolousness of it that really is a mirror on like America's place, moral place in the world at this moment.
What's the pulse in Congress? Most
disgust, genuine disgust, shock.
Both sides?
Both sides. Both sides.
Anybody for it? Anybody for what's happening?
Honestly, because I'm trying
to be... What do you mean for protecting pedophiles? Is there anybody in Congress that is voting against releasing this shit or that's totally against it that wants to protect pedophiles? Let's get their names out.
There was one guy who voted against Massey my bill, but I think he, in fairness, he just thought that it should have been done in a different way. I don't think he was actually for protecting pedophiles in honesty. I think the reality is that most of the people in Congress have been pretty shaken by the release. Most of them are pretty disgusted by what took place. And the question is, are they going to have the guts to go after these people? What are the barriers? Well, you're going after donors. You're going after donors to both parties. You're going after Democratic donors and you're going after Republican donors. These are people who give a lot of money, and you don't want to. It's not convenient to go after them. Secondly, you got Trump saying, "Move on."
So hold on. I would like to add something to that.
Yeah.
So if anybody is against that because of going to their donors, they do not have what's best for the country in their heart. They have what's best for them, and that is it. That's all they fucking care about is staying in Congress, staying in the Senate, staying wherever they're at. It's not for the country, it's for themselves. If that's what's fucking happening, every one of these son of a bitches need to be fucking voted out because they're in it for themselves.
Yeah, and that's
Fuck about your donors.
It's the donors. It's their concern for themselves and their party, and they don't vote, right? They just stay quiet or don't rock the boat. That's the secret in Washington. It's not that you cast bad votes. It's that you block stuff from even coming for a vote. So no one knows. No one knows that you're the one protecting these people. But, why isn't every single person on the oversight committee doing what Nancy Mace said, which is telling Comer, look, go start hearings on this. Subpoena everyone. Comer, you could be a national hero. You could take what Massey and I did with the release of the files, and you could say, I'm going to hold, starting tomorrow, Bill Gates in front of this committee, and we're going to have hearings. Not just the Clintons. Fine. Have everyone.
A lot of people could take the hero card right now.
Yeah.
Why not J.D. Vance?
Vance could do it.
Great if he came out and said something.
I'd praise
anybody inside the administration. Just come out and say something. Like, holy shit, does he really have that much of a wrath over you? Like, fucking, hey, I thought it was a free country. Guess it's not.
And then that's the second thing. So it's the fear of the donors and it's fear of Trump, because Trump keeps saying, oh, let's just move on. Let's move on. And they're afraid that if they really go after this Epstein stuff, that they can have Trump's wrath. And it's not theoretical. I mean, Trump takes a shot at Massey in every other speech, and he's now endorsed someone running against Massey. I think when Massey wins, that'll hopefully give courage to some of the other Republicans who are afraid of Trump. And Trump's not going to be there that much longer. I mean, he's got 3 years. So what about thinking beyond Trump like Marjorie Taylor Greene was? But this is the reason that you don't have more action in Congress. It's the money. It's the fear of Trump. It's people saying move on. And some people are saying, okay, if we move on in 2 years, I may want some of these people's support. I don't want a billionaire super PAC coming against me. There are 3 billionaire super PACs coming against Massey. By the way, we discussed the billionaire tax last time. We had a good spirited conversation. But look at the people who are attacking me and look at the correlation between that and the Epstein files. I don't think it was about, some tax. I mean, that they have legitimate arguments. This is about being exposed as utterly devoid of morality. And if someone just looks at the tweets and the people who are tweeting against me, and you look at the people you mentioned in those files, suddenly there's a correlation. It didn't occur to me until I saw those files, because I didn't think that there were that many people in Silicon Valley in those files. I was naive. I thought that most people were from New York because Epstein was in New York. I knew there were real estate folks. I knew there were finance folks. I knew there were Clinton was in it. I knew that Trump was in it. I knew there were Barack was in it. I knew some of the politicians, but it shocked me. It stunned me how many people from California are in it.
Might be onto something there. I will tell you, a lot of people are still pissed about the tax thing.
I know they
Me included.
Yes.
But like I said, get rid of the fucking waste, fraud, and abuse. And when we start seeing our country flourish because of the taxes that we're paying, I'm all in, Ro. I'll pay. I guess I have to be all in no matter what, right? but seriously, I would be for it if I saw our country flourish because of higher taxes. Unfortunately, the country's going like this, and the taxes are going, and I'm just not seeing it. See it all go to Somalia, Israel, Ukraine, fucking these stupid programs. It's all over the place, but it's not going to where it needs to go.
Well, I do agree with you. We need to show people like me who believe that the rich should pay more need to show accountability, right? Like, because we got to show that, no, we're not just going to give this blank check to Netanyahu to kill kids. We've got to show that we're taking on the waste and the fraud and the abuse that's taking place. And and that's why I said we've got to restore the trust that starts with holding some of these elite people accountable. So then I can go to someone like you. I mean, I think you'd pay more taxes if I said is really going to cover someone who doesn't have health care. The problem is that right now people feel like even if they're paying more tax, their money isn't going to actually help Americans who want education or health care. And that is our challenge as a country. And it's a bigger challenge for a Democrat like me, who believes that we should have a strong safety net of healthcare and education. That's why I think the highest priority right now has to be holding these elites accountable. At least we start somewhere.
I guess we start right here, huh? This is hopefully more people start taking this shit seriously. We're seeing a real liver health crisis in this country, and most people don't even realize how widespread it is. Nearly 1 in 3 Americans are being affected. Look around. High-fat and sugar diets, processed foods, hidden ingredients everywhere. The hard truth is, you can't really avoid it. Most products are filled with junk and filler, and most of us don't have time to read every label. So what can you do? You can support the organ that helps process it all every single day. That's where Dose for Your Liver comes in. Dose for Your Liver is a clinically backed liver health supplement. It's a highly absorbable liquid taken as a daily 2-ounce shot that tastes like fresh orange juice. It's a plant-forward formula designed to support liver function and cleanse the liver of unwanted stressors that may be slowing it down. Guys, I've become a huge fan of this stuff. Forget capsules, forget powders. Dose keeps it simple. 0 sugar, 0 junk, 0 calories. Your liver is your body's daily filter and performs over 500 functions every day, including energy production and digestion. When it's overworked, you can feel it. People who take Dose consistently report more energy, fewer midday crashes, better digestion, and less bloating. And it's backed by real science, with 2 double-blind, placebo-controlled studies showing positive impact on liver function. New customers can save 35% on your first month's subscription by going to dosedaily.co/SRS or entering SRS at checkout. That's DOSEDAILY.co/SRS for 35% off your first month subscription. Most people don't want to learn a language to memorize grammar. They want to actually speak it in real life. That's what Babbel is built for. Babbel focuses on real-world conversation with bite-sized lessons that fit easily into your day. Just 10 minutes a day can help you start seeing real progress. Their courses are designed by over 200 language experts and teach words and phrases you'll actually use in everyday conversations. You'll be able to start speaking with confidence in as little as 3 weeks. My team and I have been using Babbel to prep for all of our international interviews, and I like how it helps you practice speaking with confidence, step by step. They also offer podcasts that share language tips and cultural insights. Babbel has over 25 million subscriptions sold worldwide, offers 14 languages, and every course comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee. Here's a special limited-time deal for our listeners. Right now, get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription at babbel.com/SRS. Get up to 55% off at babbel.com/SRS. Spelled BABBEL.com/SRS. Rules and restrictions may apply. Visit babbel.com for terms and details. I was talking about that VC woman, Masha Booker, earlier, and we had interviewed her here. And I never released the interview because she didn't pass the sniff test. I just thought she was completely full of shit. We found something that said she was tied to Epstein, and she got very uncomfortable in the interview and wanted it pulled out. And I said, we're not pulling it out. We're not pulling it out. Or we're not releasing anything at all.
I can't believe people asked you to withhold stuff.
We don't. The only time I do that is when I'm talking to